Welcome everybody. The year ahead for 2025 is a marvel in a lifetime. We've got an incredible lining up of planets in a very unique position, and to symbolize the coming together, the conglomeration of planets, I'm using the Egyptian mythology of the Ankh, because when we look at this teardrop shape, notice it's not a circle of spirit, but that teardrop shape represents the path of the sun as it rises and sets. So it forms this kind of ellipse, and that is above the cross of matter. So every culture has a cross, like a Christian cross or a Celtic cross. So here the Egyptian cross is the Ankh, and the Ankh is a symbol of eternal life. Because it represents the pathway of the sun, and I've made it as a winged disc, we're going to look at what is the most important symbolic point in all the zodiac. Is whenever you draw up a chart, we symbolically put Aries at this point here. It's called the AP, or the Aries Point. Aries is all about the self and authenticity and claiming your power. But in the medical astrology, the symbol for Aries is like where your eyebrows curve. So this point here, this nexus point, which is that point of the Ankh, represents our third eye. It's about seeing the vision ahead and being able to manifest it, which is why we have the cross. Now this AP point here, we notice that the Aries is the self, and it goes Taurus, Gemini. It does the circle of the planets. Now we've got all these planets called a stellium. We've got Neptune, Venus, and Saturn all heading towards the AP point, the Aries point, which is all about new beginnings. But as they enter the new signs, all these planets, like Uranus is moving into a new sign. We've got Mercury moving into a new sign. That represents the completion of one thing and beginning another, because we've probably went through 2024 with lots of ideas, but we didn't actually anchor it. We didn't put the cross of matter to make our dreams come true. And that's why that third eye point, the pineal gland, this liquid crystal within our being, is about projecting and anchoring and making things happen. But we have some challenges going on. We've got Saturn Conjunct Neptune. Saturn is the hole in your aura. Wherever you see Saturn in Pisces, Saturn represents like a limitation, or the part of our body or life that we have to heal. But through the healing, there is growth. And that lineup of Saturn conjunct Neptune always happens every 36 years. That's the beauty of astrology. We look at patterns, what happened in the world every 36 years ago. So 36 years ago, in 1989, we had the collapse of the Berlin Wall. And before that, in 1952, we had the birth of Stalin, we had the birth of Putin and the death of Stalin. And before that, 36 years before that, in 1917, we had the Russian Revolution. So what we're looking at is people who are growing in their power, but they're not using their power for humanity. That's what Pisces is all about. See, as we go from Aries all the way along, you go to Libra, which is projecting the self now to other people and relationships. And then from Libra, we go all the way to government, socialization, and Pisces is the universe, the world. So all this stellium is in the sign of Pisces, which is trying to bring the world together in a globalistic way, but without power structures that dominate. So that's what this is all about. It's all about the dissolution of power structures. That's what Pluto was all about. So last year when I did my last chart, Pluto here was on the end of Capricorn. Capricorn's all about structure and control and organization, which is good. We need to have structure. But Pluto comes along, it's all about death and transformation. Pluto says, no, we have to serve the people. That's what Aquarius is all about. Aquarius is the coming of the AI, the artificial intelligence. But is it good AI? Is it AI that's going to help people, or will the inventors use this to control the consciousness of the planet? So this is all about when the sun is conjuncting Pluto, it's when we have to shine our light for better information, for better education. So this is all about new education and the surge in technological innovations. It's a space age. It's an air sign. That's why we look at fire, earth, air, water. Different signs have different meanings. So we're entering a space age, but we need to understand who's in control of the wheel. Who is the presidents of the world? Are they actually supporting better education, better medicine, better health? That's what all this is about. Yeah, so So the problem with Neptune coming towards this AP point, the Aries point, is that we want people to be in authentic, but sometimes when people become leaders, they can control others, or they can. Neptune's all about sometimes illusions and dreams and the influence of drugs. So we've got to be really centered where we don't need any substances. We're in our power. We're creating new pathways. And that's why I've put these two beings. These two beings that you see here are beings of light. I'm projecting the energy of their hands into the Aries point. So you notice the light is going into the Aries point. And here, this being is projecting all the light through Leo. Leo rules children, and it's a stage. So what's important about Leo is that the opposite sign of Aquarius is Leo. So they're called like an astrological pair. So Pluto, when we had that conflict on October the 7th with Israel and Gaza, we had a certain conflict in the world, and it's still being resolved. And it's going to be resolved soon, because what's happening is that the opposite of Aquarius is Leo. And you can see here that as Mars crosses into Leo, see the completing and a new beginning. As Mars goes into Leo, it's going to be opposite Pluto. So Pluto opposite Mars was when we had that conflict in Arabia. So cycles are happening, but we're learning our lessons, we're learning to harmonize and to create. Now, what's happening in our personal life too is that the North Node is right on the Aries point. So we started off this understanding of the year ahead is like, why is this symbolic point? It's called the North Node. The North Node is where we're going to, and the opposite of the North Node is the South Node in Libra. South Node is where we're coming from. So Libra, if Aries represents the self, the South Node represents, or Libra represents a relationship. So this point here, the South Node, it's an 18.6 year cycle of the North Nodes of the Moon's pathway, but it's trying to question the patterns in previous relationships. So it's inviting us to look at not just ourselves, but to look at the relationships in our life and understand, is this a healthy relationship? Is this relationship in alignment with my highest values? Because when I heal myself and I work with a beautiful partner, I'm able to change the world. And that's what the symbolism of the Ankh is. The Ankh is all about a connection to the celestial planetary movements with this earth plane. So that point here, where the teardrop touches the disk of matter, is this Aries point, which is all about a confluence of planetary energies that we can transform to have more coherent and more ability to manifest exactly what we're here to do.